Hi, my name is Ryan Madsen, and I am the advisor for the Virtual Academy Leadership class. With this video, I just want to go through some of the goals of this class and how my role is here to really help to enable you to create the year that you want to be proud of in the future. And so I'm looking forward to it. I'm really excited about some of the team members that we have this year, and I look forward to supporting you in that process. So let's get to some of the goals of this class. So first of all, we ask the question, what is a leader? The way I define a leader is someone who essentially decides that rather than complaining about a problem or simply blaming something, they decide they are going to try to find a way to change the situation. They're going to try to find a way to make the situation better. So as soon as a person starts to look for a solution, rather than just looking for something to blame, I believe they've become a leader. So a leader doesn't require you to be over anyone. It doesn't require you to give any instructions. It doesn't even matter if anybody's listening to you. As soon as you decide you're going to make a difference, rather than just complaining, you've become a leader. And that's a scary thing at first, but that's where great things start to happen. Now, service leadership is when we start to involve other people in that goal. As a service leader, we start to look at team members, and they might not be assigned to us. We don't have to have any title at all to be a leader, but we start to look at the people around us, and we start to recognize abilities that they may not see themselves. And as we have learned to look for solutions and look to solve problems, we start to unlock the skills and abilities that these other people have, even if they don't see them themselves. So that commitment to building team members is a major part of being a leader. And a leader also recognizes the variety of skills on their team and learns how to put those skills together in a way, it's kind of like putting together a puzzle, put those skills together in a way that helps to achieve something that nobody could achieve on their own. So we can imagine a lot of scenarios where it requires a whole variety of skill sets to achieve a goal. If you take one of those people out, it doesn't matter who they are, including the leader, they could never achieve that goal in isolation. But bringing them together helps them to create and build something and achieve something that nobody could do on their own. Now, I'm going to use a metaphor sometimes for leadership that I'm just going to call leaving the 99. Now, I will tell you that this metaphor is sometimes used in a religious context. We're not using it in a religious context here. Here, we're just going to apply this in a way that could be applied to our leadership class or to really any role of leadership. But what this metaphor is it talks about a sheep herder who is over a flock of, say, 100 sheep. One of those sheep gets lost and they're in a risky position. That sheep might be scared. That sheep might feel left out, and that sheep might not feel accepted by the group. Whatever it is, this sheep is in a scary place. Okay. Now, when you think about this practically, you would say, well, if one sheep is lost, but the sheep herder still has the other 99, who cares? You got the bulk of them. Stick with the 99. Don't worry about the one. Okay. But that's not what the sheep herder does. Instead, he goes out and he finds that one sheep, leaves the 99, finds the one sheep, carries that sheep back, nurses the sheep back to health. Okay. So what does that have to do with our leadership? So when we're leaders, we're going to find people who are name any type of description. Okay. First of all, they might be annoying. They might be slow at understanding, potentially. They might be socially awkward. They might be shy. Okay. They might be unskilled at some maybe sport that we're playing. Whatever it might be, there's all varieties of ways that our team members or part of our community could be left out or could be lost. Okay. When the leader of that team goes over to that person and says, hey, I'm here to support you. We're not going to leave you behind. What it does is that brings a level of security to every single person on that team. Because the reality is, while we look at that person and we say, that person is different, the reality is all of us feel different. All of us feel some insecurity. And when we see a leader that's willing to take that person who looks the most insecure, the most awkward, or whatever it is, and say, you know what, we're here for you, then every single person on that team feels more secure. And when people feel secure and safe, they can be creative, they can take chances, they can make an impact. So I want you to think about that as a leader. How can you leave the 99? And when you leave the 99, you're actually benefiting that entire group, including all of those 99 that you've left to go help that one. Okay, some of the requirements of leadership include vision, passion, discipline, and conscience. I'm not going to go into these extensively. We can talk about these later, but vision is just having a clear view of where you want to go as a team and as a leader. Passion is your commitment to that goal. Discipline is your ability to continue in your commitment to that goal even when things get boring and even when people are not watching. Great things don't happen at the Olympics. They don't happen at the Super Bowl. They don't happen at the moment when the battle is happening. They happen in the quiet times. They happen during practice. They happen during cleanup. And discipline is required to effectively carry out that vision that you have. And finally, conscience is important. History has a lot of leaders who were very good at getting people to do what they want them to, but their goals were very destructive. And conscience means that you are able to include goals that truly benefit all involved and truly have positive outcomes. And one example would be when our founding fathers came up with the Constitution, one of their goals was equality. Okay, that was very different from a lot of countries. And that ability to consider the needs of each individual and see each individual as valuable and equal was, I think, something guided by the conscience of those founding fathers. Okay, now finally, I'm going to just read, not finally, but we've got a couple of other things, but this is the Virtual Academy Leadership Mission. This mission was created by a lot of the people who are now seniors and some of the other people who have gone on to graduate. So we completed this about 3 years ago, and we've refined it just a little bit over time. But here's what it says, and I want you to think about this when you are planning this year. It says, our mission is to create a culture and environment at Virtual Academy that makes all students feel welcome, safe, and connected. We create events and programs that are fun, build social connections, promote unity, encourage talent development, and lift those in needs. Our success is measured by how we reach the individual, regardless of their background, beliefs, or abilities. We encourage every team member to be a leader by developing the skills and attitude to change the world for the better. So when we're planning an activity, let's look at this and make sure that it aligns with the goals that are outlined here. The Virtual Academy leadership motto is really simple. It's just all in, okay? And by all in, we mean two sides here. First of all, we're talking about the commitment that we have to the goals of our team. We're all in, we're fully committed. Secondly, it has to do with the community of Virtual Academy, meaning that we're not leaving anybody out. Everybody is involved. Now, the values that we decided as a leadership team include integrity, communication, respect, kindness, authenticity, trust, acceptance, health, resilience, and creativity. And so as we look at activities, let's try to find some of these values and see, are those activities lined up with some of these values? And is the way that we're treating each other lined up with these values? I love a lot of these just really, they really enforce things that I think are so wonderful about the Virtual Academy community. Next, our leadership team is designed in something we call projectized structure. So what that means is that there is no one leader on our leadership team. Okay, we have certain people in certain leadership roles, but everybody is a leader. And the leadership structure works this way. When you have an activity idea, then what you do is you fill out a proposal. And there's a short proposal and a plan that you fill out. Then you put that up for approval, and the body of leadership team will vote on it, but also I'll need to sign off on it, as well as our principal, Mrs. Redkey. Once that proposal goes through, then we choose an activity manager. That might be you if you've proposed it, or it could be somebody else. Now, the activity manager becomes essentially the CEO of that activity. So that means that, for example, even though I am the advisor, you might think, well, the advisor is above somebody. They're really not. But when it comes to the activity, you can give me assignments and delegate to me, and I become your team member. That's the same with the presidents, the vice presidents. They become your team members, and you give them assignments. There's no idea or concept that, oh, because somebody is president or vice president, then they only give assignments. No, they also receive them. They become your team member when you're in charge of an activity. So this kind of summarizes that the manager is essentially the CEO for the activity, and they can delegate to any team member. On to my grading philosophy. So the grading philosophy, essentially, I like this image of a green light. And the reason I put that up there is because really my grading philosophy, for those people that are here for the right reasons, who are going to show up, I really just want to get out of your way. Okay, I want you to be able to make the impact that you plan to make, and I want to be there to support you in doing that. Now, for people that may not have developed that maturity to take on that type of leadership yet, or have not really realized the vision for why they should be involved in leadership, I want the grading policy to help them to learn how to become committed. And so the grading approach, if somebody was planning on getting an easy grade and laying low, the grading approach is going to stand in the way of that and emphasize that importance of involvement. So with the grading approach, first of all, attendance at all classes is mandatory. So you need to make sure that you are there on Fridays. If for some reason you consistently cannot be there on Fridays, then you'll need to come and talk to me because that unfortunately will not work with this class. We have to have you showing up. There's a saying that 90% of success is showing up. And that's definitely a big part of what it is here at Virtual Academy. But not only showing up, but also making sure you're there on time and making sure that you contribute positively. Okay, and we'll talk in more detail what we mean by positive contribution. But to start, make sure you're showing up. Secondly, you need to attend all of the leadership activities. So if we have an after-school activity, you need to plan to be there. If we have a dance, you need to plan to attend. Again, showing up is 90% of success. So we want to make sure that we're doing that. Now, I sometimes will have, if we have, say, like 3 activities in a week or something like what might happen during Spirit Week, I won't expect you to be at every one. Okay, but maybe if we have, say, 4 activities or whatever, maybe I might say, okay, you need to attend 2 of them. Okay, and report that you've attended, and we'll sometimes keep track of exactly who's there. Now, I know that not every single Friday will always work for everyone. People get sick. There are occasional conflicts. Okay, so for a few of those activities, and we'll talk about it in the syllabus, how many this is allowed for, but it's for a limited number of Fridays and a limited number of activities, you can do makeup work. So makeup work, I have several books that are, a lot of them are exceptional books. And if you want to decide which is the best for you, come and talk to me. But I have several books that I recommend that are leadership books. And so if you read 25 pages of one of those and you need to fill out a short report on it, then that'll be worth 10 points. We also have several approved leadership movies. If you watch an hour of a leadership movie, then that is also 10 points. And then some of them will also have some speeches and articles that you could read that could also be worth 10 points. Okay, so this is how you would make up. If there's, for example, if you have a sporting event that you have to be to, that maybe you're on a sporting team and so therefore can't go to an activity, then you would do this instead. And on a limited basis, this is fine. And this is actually a great opportunity to develop your leadership skills. So these will be completely fine to do. But you can't do this for every activity. Okay, it'll be a limited number, and we'll talk about that in the syllabus. Now, finally, you'll need to do a semester leadership project. Now, this might sound maybe bigger than it is, but really what a leadership project is I'll have certain elements that will need to be included. But let me give you some examples of semester leadership projects that might work well for you. For example, you could be a project manager for 2 in-school activities. Okay, so you're the go-to person for 2 different activities that happen anytime between now and the end of the semester. okay, which is in December. You might become a student mentor and meet weekly with your peer, okay? You might be a project manager for one major after-school activity. We'll have homecoming. The project manager for that's a major major undertaking. So the person that manages that could be their leadership project for the semester. So there's several other things that you can do, but essentially what it means is we want you to step up and stretch yourself to try some leadership involvement. And you'll be able to plan what you're planning to do, and then I'll look at it and give it approval, and then you're going to want to carry that out. And then at the end of the semester, you'll just provide a little report on how that went. And when I say report, I don't mean like multiple pages. I'm just saying you might fill out a survey or something that describes how you executed your leadership project and what you learned in the process. And then also just want to make you aware, we're working on a leadership manual that's going to go over some of the policies. It's going to include the mission, and it'll also include some things like how we run a meeting. And this will be something I think that'll be helpful for everyone, so that in case somebody's not here, they can continue to carry out the same processes and procedures that we normally do in leadership. So finally, I'm just going to end with a quote. It looks like I'm missing one space in it, but it says, "The best way to predict the future is to create it." And that's what you're doing when you're a leader. You're creating the future. And it doesn't mean that you have control of everything and you don't want to fall for thinking that you do, but you often and usually have so much more power than you know. And I'm excited to see you apply that power this year to make and create amazing things here at Virtual Academy. Looking forward to a great year. Thank you.